going to share with you some of my thoughts from the PTS that dropped today. Um, as most of you know, I am primarily interested in things that happen to do with the hybrids. I'm also going to make sure my recorder here is centered on the screen. Sorry about that. Just had to be sure. Now, I've read through some of this already, and I was really Uh, I was underwhelmed by the new sets that they introduced. I don't like. Wait, what, did I go too far? Okay, I'm not in the right place. Um, if I scroll past those sets, maybe I'll read a little bit about those sets. But I don't like sets that just give you damage, and that's what some of these sets were doing. You know, they do a heavy attack, call down a light bolt to lightning, and damage everybody in the area for whatever, just for doing a heavy attack. I don't like that kind of stuff. This is kind of stuff that make people, they nuke you from 20 meters away with a heavy attack, and they think they're good at the game, you know. And I haven't been playing very long, but I know gameplay from unskilled gameplay, and I'm just going to call it as it is. That's unskilled gameplay, and I don't like it. But anyway, so uh, let me also give some thoughts about the reduction of damage taken. They're going to reduce it more. So I guess about another um, 10%. And it's effectively 10% because even though battle spirit was reduced to 44%, as they said here, they had gave characters an additional 10% reduced cost. So it was actually 10% on top of that 44%. I guess you could say 54% or whatever. But anyway, they're reducing the damage taken to 60%, or the amount of damage reduction to 60%. And so, look, I play off meta, and I know that there are builds out there that I simply cannot overcome because I have to build for weapon and spell damage, and I don't, on a lot of classes, I just can't stack damage the way they can stack either spell damage or weapon damage. I can't stack one of those. I have to do both. And so there's a limit to the amount of damage that I can do to a lot of those already. And but for other builds, if you just have a straight up pure mag or stand build, then you may feel that the tankiness is not really there. But I see it for any off meta build. It's there. It's hard to kill. It's not really a problem. Or I should say, it's not really something that adding more damage reduction is going to help. It's still going to be a problem. Um, but for those who play a pure mag or stand build, then yeah, you might feel like you can use that extra 10% of damage mitigation. But then again, I see builds out there or people in battlegrounds going 20-0 and 10 or 20-0 and 15 or whatever. Like they're just not dying. And a lot of that comes from their ability to cloak. A lot of that comes from their ability to kill from range, and some builds are high health stacking builds that still do a ton of damage. Mostly speaking about the wardens, the stand wardens specifically. So you have Nightblades, stealth, sorks, range, and wardens high health stacking, getting um, still being able to get off loads of burst while stacking high health and not really needing any more reduction in damage taken. But now they're going to all three of those sort of problematic uh, not characters, but classes are going to get a buff now. So now that's going to be really difficult to deal with. Um, what we needed to do was address the amount of damage that they were doing. That's what, and it's mostly just those three culprits: the wardens, the mag sorks, and the nightblades. The amount of damage that they were doing, especially because the vampire skill line benefits the nightblades even more. It's like a direct buff to their class, and it's like an extension of their class. That's what vampire skill line is. They get 300 weapon and spell damage just for going into cloak. I mean, that's part of the problem right there. That's part of why the TTK is too high. Time to kill is too quick. But anyway, moving on. So I like what they're doing with the some of these sets, but the hybridization of them. And so right now it's really I have a lot to look forward to. I have a lot more options now when I'm looking at these sets. Agility, I can use agility now because agility grants equal weapon and spell damage now. The balanced warrior passive on Templars gives now both weapon and spell damage, which it should have, and I suggested that in a thread. They didn't hit everything that I wanted for Templars, but maybe hopefully another day. And I'll share that thread with you one day in a video. Concentration. Now we get into the armor passives, and this was something that I know I might have mentioned in a video once, or at least I tried to make a video once, and the audio was terrible. But I think I mentioned it before. But the passives on medium armor and light armor can be made more hybrid friendly. So now light armor gives offensive penetration. So it's weapon and spell penetration. Great, that's exactly what it should do. And medium armor should be the damage armor. So you get critical damage and healing done instead of just weapon critical. But what I don't see though is a boost to what I don't see is a boost to spell damage. I see, well, it's not on there, but I know that medium armor has a percentage increase to weapon damage, and I don't see that also granting equal percentage spell damage. So that may still be a place where they're not hybridizing, and that would be unfortunate in my opinion. But yeah, that would be a shame if they didn't do that as well. But anyway, let's move on. So I need to look at these before I actually do. Let me just hold on. I want to look at these passives again. Okay, so for light armor as it is right now, the Prodigy gives you spell critical rating right now, and concentration gives you spell penetration. So it sounds like, okay, you're going to get weapon critical and spell critical, and you're going to get offensive penetration from light armor, which is great. Because light armor should be viable for medium, or light armor should be viable for physical damage as well, not just magical damage. Now, let me look at what they say. Okay, now grants critical chance. Okay. Concentration, offensive penetration. Now let's look at medium armor. Let's see what medium armor does. Dexterity increases weapon critical. So this is going to be weapon and spell critical now. But what they didn't mention, okay, agility. Let's see, agility increases your weapon damage 2%. Okay, I see now. Agility That was the weapon armor passive. I thought they meant agility as in the 3-piece set for agility. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, so this is great. This is really great. They were talking about the passive there. Now, did they say it was a flat value again? Now grants equal weapon and spell damage. Excellent. So, 2% weapon and spell damage for each piece of medium armor 1. You can't see it, but I am fist pumping. I am fist pumping. Yes, that is great. That is really going to hit hard on a hybrid. That is really going to hit hard. Okay, let's see what else they got. Now, what they really need to do though, looking at what they also need to do is just the weapon skills are so limited. No, just take it one thing at a time. But speaking of medium armor and stamina skills, I'm so sick of Dawnbreaker. I don't even use it because I'm just sick of it. I see almost every stamina build is using Dawnbreaker except for Dragon Knight and possibly Stamina Templar, but they don't have a lot of options, so I can't blame them. But that's the problem. So that's why I use Berserker Strike or Meteor, because I just like gotta find some way to try to be unique in this game. And let's see here. Let's read on and see what they have. Fix multiple issues with ability timers. Wait a minute. What is this? Scaled armor. I think that is a Dragon Knight skill, probably. Savage Strength. Slayer. What is that? What is Slayer? What passive is that? Is that Fighters Guild or something? I'll look at that later. Adjusted many player abilities no longer attempt to remove stealth or invisibility when they should not. Okay, this is what I'm also concerned about with stealth. This may result in even more night blades and more cowardly play, but at least if they take damage while they're in stealth, while they're in cloak, I guess I can live with that. So when I do a meteor and someone cloaks, that meteor should still track them and smack them instead of them just being able to just completely negate the meteor by cloaking. This means that the only player abilities that should remove stealth are area of effect damage, stuns, fears, immobilizes, as well as reveals. Wait a minute. Okay, so okay, rather than only single, we want the removal or denial of stealth ability to be more active than passive. Okay, so they didn't take away the thing that I thought they would take away. I was afraid that they would take away any AoE attack, removing a player from stealth. But it sounds like they're not taking that away, so that might be a good thing. It should remove stealth or area of effect, direct damage, and stuns with area of effect, direct damage. So that would be a meteor, leap. Okay, so yeah, some skills still won't do it. So if I have deadly cloak up, that won't remove them from stealth, unfortunately. Also fix many issues where attacks were checking in areas regularly to hit singular targets. Could target stealth or invisible targets. Well, I don't really care if they get. Yeah. I mean, I plan on playing a Nightblade one time, but I don't want to use a Nightblade the way people are using it now. Okay, so I had a little interruption there, but I'm back on track. Let's see here. Fixing the issue where the guaranteed critical chance and damage for a successful sneak attack could in some cases apply multiple attacks at once. Okay, I'm really just looking for the increase in like hybrid stuff, and I was interested in what they were doing with Nightblades, because that's just going to be they're right now they're just over the top broken right now. But anyway, I'm mostly just interested in the hybrid stuff. Earth and Heart, Magma Armor, fixed initial rate of penetration. Check on this direct damage for this morph was not consistent with other sources. Okay, Grave Lord. Let's see what unnerving Bogeyard fixed initial with morph. Exterior area of effect attack, Flame Skull. The damage, okay, they did say they were making a change to this. The bonus damage from this ability in Morph's third cast has now been built into their damage coefficients rather than as a bonus modifier effect. This will clean up some calculation errors that result in less damage than intended when stacking multiple bonuses. What they need to do is fix Blast Bones. Because okay, let's say Stalking Blast Bones. Summon Stalking Blast Bones. It comes up, it looks around, and then it decides to go after a target. But by the time it has decided to go after a target, that target has already ghosted. They're out of there. If they're a Nightblade, they have cloaked. If they're something else, they're just outrunning the Blast Bones. And the Blast Bone dies before it ever has a chance to hit anything, or it just walks around looking stupid. I mean, that I would like it if it would just get up, do its thing, hit, and be done. But it actually, it's you have to focus somebody in order to summon the Blast Bones. So the fact that it kind of almost looks like it then has to search for a target after it comes up, that's just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't get that. And what else about the Blast Bones that was really bothering me? From what I noticed when I was working out on a little trial dummy, testing the range, I went to the absolute edge of the maximum range for the Blast Bones, and I was not noticing any difference in damage. So I don't know if there's something bugged there or not, but there's supposed to be an increased damage, I guess, from if you do it at a range, or maybe it just only applies if you have a target that runs away and then the Blast Bone chases them for longer and then it hits. But like I said, a lot of times it'll chase them and that person is too fast for the Blast Bones. They'll get away. They're either too fast or they'll cloak, and for whatever other reason, it just won't hit. So Shadow Cloak fixed an issue with its ability. It's a Nightblade. Its Morph's protections could work even if the attacker had Detective Potion active. I wish they would just do a lot more things to sort of deal with Nightblades right now. The Vampire skill line basically just being a buff to Nightblades, and only Nightblades is a real problem too. Storm Calling Overload. This junk is Overload is just so cheese. It is so, honestly, I never feel like reporting anybody until I go to Battlegrounds and there are certain players in Battlegrounds overload spamming, desyncing me, knowing what they're doing. They got like 20 kills, 0 death, and whatever else, and they're just overload spamming, and I'm like, this junk is desyncing people. It's taking my health from 100 to 0 in a second. It's doing that, and you're abusing it. And I'm like, I never feel like reporting to somebody until this person comes on, and it's at least probably 2 or 3 people who's doing it, and all they do is play Sork, spamming overload. Light attacks from this ultimate and morphs now break stealth when cast. There is nothing sneaky about lobbing giant bolts of lightning at your foes. Alright. Well, that's better than, they don't need that bonus from vampirism. That's even worse. Dawn's Wrath, Backlash. This ability in this morph now retain 50% of the damage dealt. Thank you. I was just thinking the other day, they need to increase the damage that it stores. And okay, that's needed to help be more reliable in PvP encounters. 50% damage. Okay, now Backlash is actually worth something now. Great. The final explosion now scales off your spell or weapon damage depending on the morph. Yes, and that's the other thing. Have it scale off of weapon damage, uh not max magic or max stamina. Okay, Backlash is back. Purifying Light is back. Or if you use Power of the Light, right? Power of the Light is about to hit hard as hell right now. It's about to hit hard. Final explosion now scales off your weapon or spell damage depending on the morph, rather than magic or stamina. Boy, Backlash is about to hit hard. The final explosion now scales with both positive and negative bonuses, rather than only the negative ones. What do they mean? Negative bonuses. What do they mean by that? Skills with both positive and negative bonuses. Or are they talking about, I don't know, whatever. Radiant Destruction, fixed an issue where both morphs, oh, I'm going to hate fighting Templars in this patch. I'm going to hate it. Where both morphs of this ability had scaling coefficients with less significant figures than intended. I mean, it's great that they're getting that fixed, but I hate having to deal with Radiant Oppression spammers, so I'm not really too I'm not really too happy to see it get fixed. Because you got people just they hide, they see you come in, okay, and they run off and hide behind a wall around a corner, and other people come out and start fighting you, and now this person decides to start throwing shards at you and radiant oppression spamming you, and it's like, get your butt over here and fight me and stop hiding like a coward over there. You know, that person probably knows exactly what I'm talking about too, if he ever watches this video. So this should retain roughly the overall maximum power of the morph, but with far less micromanagement. Warden Green Balance Accelerated Growth. This passive now grants major mending for 2 to 4 seconds. Oh, 2 to 4 seconds. I don't know. I guess it depends on the rank. Okay, I'm leveling my warden. I created a warden and I created a nightblade, but I'm not going to get into their skills right now because I haven't even really leveled them up. I'm waiting for the next double XP event. I'll probably make them both hybrids too. Okay, so I heard they were making some changes to Destruction Staff. Let's check it out. Ancient Knowledge. This passive now better discerns what is area of effect attack and what isn't, with its bonus damage based off your staff type. Increase the bonuses of both Inferno and Lightning staff types up to 5 to 10%, up from 4 to 8 to help better match the power of Twin Blade, Blunt, or Heavy Weapons grant. Okay, but here's the thing. I don't like being pigeonholed with staffs. With the Flame Staff, you get bonuses to direct damage. Lightning Staffs, you get bonuses to area of effect. What if I want to use a Flame Staff because my character has a fire theme, but I do a lot of AoE attacks? So I'm still pigeonholed. I don't like that. That's why I'm not using a staff. I would rather use weapons. Anyway, my favorite type of character has always been like a spell sword. So that's why I play hybrids a lot, because I like using martial attacks and magical attacks. And so staffs just don't fit. They just don't fit what I'm going for. And this doesn't really help. Yeah, you give them more damage, but they still kind of pigeonhole you into doing a certain type of damage instead of just a flat increase in damage like the heavy weapons do, or the two-hand or the dual wield. They just give you flat, bonuses. The great sword gives you extra weapon and spell damage. a maul gives you penetration, that's still going to beat out a lightning staff or an inferno staff, in my opinion. Destructive touch. This ability and its morphs now guarantee their respective element type status effect on hit. Okay, that's not bad. Increase the cost. That sucks because I like to use it as a back bar dot on my hybrids, especially the Sork and especially the Sork and the DK. And when it comes to hybrids, one thing that is a problem is resource management. I don't like to see skill costs get increased because I'm working with smaller pools. I may have 20k magicka, 21k stamina on any particular build, and when you increase the cost of a skill, that just really hurts the build. Increase the range from 215 meters from 14 meters. That's not bad. That's good. It helps. The Frost Touch and Reach versions of the ability now deal 80% more damage on its initial hit to make them equal to the other range spammable attacks. Okay, I may just put the Frost Staff back on my Necro again. My Necro hybrid, because that might be worth using again. Right now I have right now I switched to the Sword and Board, but maybe I'll just go back to Ice Staff. The Frost version of this ability remains tank focused rather than DPS focused, and as much as received the cost reduction. But see, here's the problem with being tank focused. You have reduced cost of blocking, reduced cost of blocking and increase the amount of damage that you can block. But the movement speed, you don't get a movement speed while blocking like you do with sword and shield. And that's why it's still going to be an inferior tanking weapon. They need to just come out with an alteration staff, and an alteration staff would be a tank weapon. You can use it to buff resistances or use it to debuff your opponents. You can use it to alteration spells to harden yourself, to grant more resistance, grant more not health, but just stuns, paralysis, right? There's an alteration skill, paralysis, or immovability. You grant yourself immovability with the alteration staff. That's what they need. They need a tanking staff, not to be using ice staff as a tank weapon. And they're making it really hard on themselves by trying to turn the ice staff into a tank weapon. Let's see. With the introduction of the Frostbite set in Update 30, we saw a lot of discussion about the viability of frost damage. So you are looking at the forums. You need to be looking at what we say about the alteration staff too. This changes to the base ability to help gain a form of on-demand made minor brittle. Okay, elemental force. This passive now properly states its effects. Force shock, this ability and morph can now be reflected. Once upon a time, special rules made for these abilities not to be as it interacted poorly. Okay, wall of elements, fixing the issue of wall of fire, and okay, didn't work for 9 seconds. All right, let's see what else we got. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be as in-depth as a lot of people are about this. I only care about a few things. So, Flurry, Bloodthirst morph. This morph now heals for up to 33% of the damage done per hit, rather than up to 63% of the final. Okay, well that's useful. Sometimes you couldn't even get the final hit. Restoration staff, absorb. Oh, that's a passive. This passive now procs on any successful block rather than against only spells, which was already a half-truth as it proc on plenty non-spells as well. Increase the restore. Okay, that's going to help my Templar out because my Templar from day one has pretty much played with the restoration staff on the back bar because she was a healer also. So that would be helpful. but still, it's not an ideal weapon to be blocking with. It's not. Uh, and I can't use shields on that character anyway because the max magic is too low. So it's not an ideal backfire weapon. Essence drain. Increase the duration of the major mending from this passive. Okay. Increase healing done. I'm only going through what I care about. Healing springs. Remove the visual effects from the magic and restore on this ability to help reduce visual clutter. Okay, I didn't really notice that, but Panacea Life Giver, or Panacea, whatever. Fix an issue where this short window of time where all spells could cause nothing after activating this ability. Okay, fix an issue. Oh, they're not actually buffing it, they're just fixing the issue. All I know is that there were times when I would try to get this to go off and it would not. And I died because it would not go off. Or it would go off, it would start to go off, and I would just get killed anyway. And I'm just like, if it had came out a second earlier, I would have lived. Anyway, Berserker Strike. Unlock fixing the issue with a penetration check on damage or direct damage for this morph was not consistent with other sources. Cleave this ability and carve morph now apply a damage shield on you when you cast equal to the scaling coefficients of the initial hit. Note it does not grant a shield based on damage done. Okay, so are they talking about the tooltip on it, the ability, and the carve morph? So carve morph now also applies a damage shield. Okay, so it's not just brawler. So the carve morph now apply a damage shield on you when you cast equal to the scaling coefficients of the initial hit. Sorry, I'm not to increase the cost of all versions. Ooh. Yeah, I'm definitely not sliding that. I considered it, but not anymore. Adjusted the area of all versions to hit in a 300 degree arc. Wow. With a 5 meter radius. Wow. Maybe that will be worth sliding then. You hit those roly-poly night blades with that. Second thought, maybe that will be worth sliding. Yeah, and it does sort of go all around you, so. Brawler morph. Increase the base size of this morph's damage shield by approximately 7% to ensure it matches others. The bleed from this morph can now stack up to 3 times. Brawler is currently the clear winner in terms of the morph options as it scales far more effectively in power per target. This paired with the fact that melee builds require staying power to match defensive options. But okay, so they are paying attention to what morphs are being used and what are not being used, but what about when it comes to the classes though? I'm glad they're fixing these on some skills, but there are so many skills in the game where they don't seem to be adjusting and making the same sort of changes to make every morph viable. So many wasted morphs in this game. Not going to spend too much time on that. Light armor annulment, harness magic, fixing an issue where you can get more than 3 magic restores. I can't even use that anyway since my max magic is never high enough. Only Sorks, or maybe Mag Nightblades could use that, or maybe Mag Wardens too. I guess I don't know. So whatever, man, whatever. World Soul Magic Soul Lock is passive now procs on any killing blow. Whatever. Soul summons. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Face an issue where this ultimate morphs reveal was not a negative effect. Therefore cannot be purged or was visible on your buff tracker. Vampiric Drain. This ability and this morph now heal for 25% of your missing health per tick, up from 23. The morphs also no longer rank up. Okay. It's still such a bad skill. to be stuck in that channel for 3 seconds waiting for somebody to kill you. This morph now ranks up 1 additional ultimate per rank, which would be 5 at rank 4, up from 4. Drain Vigor. This morph now gains 1% missing stamina per rank, which ends at 10%. Yeah, but I'm not taking it. I'm not using that skill and waiting for somebody to kill me. Maybe I give it a second chance. I'll try it. I'll try it out. Fighter skill, Expert Hunter. Disability and Camouflage Hunter morph now reveal hidden enemies to 8 meters of you. Okay, so somebody was mentioning on another podcast, Grimforge, I think it was Grimforge podcast, that it should be more similar to Mage Light. So it looks like they're doing that. All versions of this ability now check for hidden enemies every 500 milliseconds instead of once every second for a more responsive catching of those slippery targets. All versions of this ability now prevent stealth and invisibility for 4 seconds, up from 3 seconds. The hidden passive from this ability and its morphs sense evil now only highlight player werewolves and vampires rather than any undead, danger, or werewolf creature. This change was done better to represent the targets your skill tracker bonus works against. Evil Hunter now increases the radius up to reveal 12 meters. Skill tracker, this passive now increases your damage with fighter ability by 10%. Okay, so I guess that's why they reduced. Oh yeah, that's right. They said they were going to do something with the prismatic enchants. So they're going to get rid of the prismatic enchants or change it at least. So skill tracker is going to do 10% more damage to werewolves and vampires in order to compensate for that, I guess. Rather than increasing your damage done with fighter guild abilities by 20% against any undead, danger, or werewolf. Wait, is that a nerf? This passive now increases your damage by 10% and an additional 10% against werewolves and vampires. Oh, I see. Rather than just flatly increasing it by 20%. Alright. So it's still going to do 10% more damage to regular normal. So Dawnbreaker is going to be 10% more additional damage to my human mortal character. It's going to do 10% more damage to my completely human character with no vampirism, no werewolf, anything in them. They're just going to take 10% more damage now from that Dawnbreaker that everybody's using. This passive is currently attempting to validate a very long list of specific target checks on the back end to apply its damage bonus. Rather than continuing this, it will now check 3 things instead of 23 each time you deal damage while retaining its flavor in PvP environments. I'm not really. I'm tired of getting slaughtered out here by these stamina builds. It looks like it's only getting worse. Mage's Guild. Can't beat them, join them, I guess. Firebone, this ability in the morph. Sorry about that. This ability in this morph now morphs traps. Now last 15 seconds. Okay, Mage Light, this ability in Inner Light morph and reveal hidden enemies within 8 meters of you, up from 6 meters. All versions of this. Okay, that's about the same as the other one, Deliberation. Now, Major Skill, I wish they would fix Time Stop. I really need Templar tanks really need a good crowd control skill, and I just don't like Time Stop. But they're probably not going to fix that. Deliberation, this passive no longer grants major protection and instead applies a unique 30% unique damage. Okay, they put unique twice. A unique 30% damage mitigation to get this passive power back to where it was meant to be. Okay, well that's good. I don't use it though. But Yeah, I don't use it. Man, imagine a vampire with undeath. Yeah, that's back again. That's back. Vampire, undeath, deliberation, unkillable. Yeah, that's back. Imbue weapon, crushing weapon, morph. They need to buff. They need to buff. Doggone fortified brass back again. Crushing weapon morph. This morph now applies major breach to the target for 6 seconds, rather than healing for 25% of the damage caused. To ensure. Oh man. No. Just give Stamsorks something. Give Stamsorks one more way to destroy people in a second. Give Stamsorks one more way to take you from 100 to 0. And you're going to go crushing weapon, Vate staff, crystal weapon. Peace out. See you later. Thanks for playing. Man, major breach. Major breach on crushing weapon. Are you kidding me? Bro, I might as well. I still like to keep race against time on my bard, but if I took race against time, I would put crushing weapon on. Man, that's gonna hurt on Stamsorks. Ouch. Inner fire. It's gonna hurt on it might hurt on Stamcrows too. Because until now they only had major breach from either pierce armor or if they use avid boneyard, which they probably wouldn't. Inner fire. This ability and its morphs now apply the unique visuals. Okay, I don't really care. Doesn't matter. Assault, magic detonation, reduce the base damage of the ability and morph approximately 60%. Ooh. But increase the scaling per target up to 100%. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. First, I was about to say they got nerfed hard, but that's good. That means no more freaking bombers are gonna come in and with a Zerg and bomb 3 people who are fighting a Zerg. Yeah, they deserve that. I hope they're crying. I hope bombers are crying right now. I hope they're crying right now because I've been on a flag before by myself in Imperial City and had a red bomber try to bomb me twice. The first time he got me, I came back. He came back, bombed me again. I was trying to be ready for him, and so I survived. Hung in there. I survived a little more, but eventually he managed to kill me. And then immediately after he killed me, he got bombed by a blue. He got killed. So it's like it's a I don't know who has fun playing like that, but bombing a solo player, that's stupid. So anyway, moving on. Revealing flare. This ability and its morphs now prevent stealth and invisibility for up to 4 seconds, up from 3 seconds. This ability and its morph now passively grant major protection while slotted to ensure they do not feel lackluster to slot when not actively trying to deny stealth or invisibility. But that's still not worth it. Even major protection, that's only 10%. Like, you still want to slot that. Like, why? Like, no. I'm not doing that. I just take my chances. I'm not wasting a slot on that. So, I'm not really. I do a lot of no CP, so I'm not really going to be worried about the CP stuff. That's pretty much ability altering weapons. Frenzy momentum fix multiple issues where this set could fail to generate stacks when casting some stamina abilities. Y'all need to nerf this thing. This is crazy. This weapon is just crazy. It's on almost every stamina build. let me see here. Prismatic weapon. This enchant now deals damage equal to normal absorb enchantment. Okay, restores health, magical, but it's equal. Oh, okay, to half of the potency of the singular resource rather than dealing bonus damages to Andre. Okay, so why do they do this? I know why, but I just want to read it. Similar to Skill Hunter, this enchantment is too narrow in its use case, requiring it to check too many cases where it should or should not work. Rather than continuing that, the enchantment will now fit the proper theme of prismatic enchants, for it offers 3 of the primary resource and 1 at half the efficiency of a singular. I mean, that'd be useful on, Thorax Pack and Infused, or maybe like, Heartland Conqueror. But, I don't know. Now, let's see what they did with Perennials. Unfortunately, it looks like that's the only crafted set they changed, so I'm kind of disappointed by that, but let's look at it. Perennials Aptitude. Rename this set to Perennials Wrath. This set now grants you a damage shield based on your weapon or spell damage. I laugh anytime something gives you a damage shield in PvP most of the time because it's going to get halved. And depending on how it scales, you probably won't get a very high damage shield anyway. So this set is probably still not worth using in my opinion. Based on your weapon or spell damage in a stack of Wrath of White Strake for every 10 seconds whenever you kill an enemy. Okay, they're giving you stacks for something. Okay, but you need to kill somebody in order to get a stack. So it's really just going to reward people who again sit back at range for 20 meters, 20 plus meters, just freaking casting on you and not actually getting into the thick of the battle where they actually have a chance to get killed at. So Wrath of White Strake grants you up to 100 weapon or spell damage per stack, but causes you to take 1% of your max health as oblivion damage. That's almost old Thrashings, ain't it? This set, or maybe that is, I can't remember what Thrashings does. Thracians. So this set's 2 to 4 piece bonuses are now weapon and spell damage, offensive penetration, and weapon and spell damage rather than max health, stamina recovery, magic recovery. The recovery was nice though. I don't mind the recovery, it just needed more. This set no longer causes your weapon and spell damage to become the highest of the 2 values. Ooh. Ooh. Why did they do that? Why? Now that is... Ooh, some people are going to be mad about this one. For those few people who still thought this was the only option for hybrids, they will not like this change. This now grants you. I mean, that's still... You get a damage shield based on your weapon and spell damage. Okay, so it's going to give you a lot of weapon and spell damage. Which damage shields would be... It would be nice if they scale with weapon and spell damage anyway. So it may not be bad, weapon and spell damage, and they stack up every time you kill an enemy. So you got to make sure you stack some defense so you don't die easily. And then you get 100 per stack, but causes you to take 1% of your health as oblivion damage per stack, up to 10 stacks. So you can get 1,000 weapon and spell damage. But you're going to take 1,000 oblivion damage. Yeah, you're going to have to be dang near a tank on this set. This says 2 to 4 piece bonuses are now weapons, spell damage, offensive penetration. Alright. This set no longer. Well, that's interesting. It might be fun to play around with though to see what you can create. Aurora's Thunder. So I have some of this crafted already, so oh well. Aurora's Thunder, this set now properly labeled as damage over time and a proc. Oh, that reminds me. I gotta go back up there and read that real quick before I finish this. Don't really pestilent holes. Pillar of Nern. I hate Pillar of Nern. I hate fighting that crap. This set now has a 2.1 second cooldown to prevent situations where the Thunder Flame Unleash Terror. The set not properly labeled as a proc and has a 2-second delay before it deals damage. Wow. What? Why? I mean, not that I use it. I don't care. I hate these kind of procs. But well, as long as that, if that deters people from using it, I'm fine with it because I hate it. Updated the set to no longer spawn a real spirit bear pet. Now some of the visual bear to maul you for. Okay, Celestrix. I hate that. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. Well, I hate all those sets really. Facing the issue with this set was incorrectly proccing off of damage abilities. Overland, the coolest heavy armor, who I don't know. I don't even know. I never even knew that existed. Resolve for 5 seconds when you successfully block. Senseless Touch. This says now grants you 5% movement speed, 30 seconds whenever you kill an enemy. It says 2 to 4 piece bonus, max stamina, max magic, weapon, spell damage. The set no longer grants major berserk when you kill an enemy with Blade of Woe. Yeah, I used to look at that and be like, what? Who uses that? I guess some people, maybe they did. I don't know. It said now grants 5% movement speed every minute for 30 seconds whenever you kill an enemy. But I was going to say that's basically just like the Griffin set almost, right? This set now grants hybrid stats rather than exclusively magically based stats. I'm trying to remember what Stygians is. It's a four piece bonus now. Or its 4-piece bonus now is offensive penetration rather than max magic. 5-piece bonus now requires you to be in combat to proc. I don't remember what it is. I gotta look this up. I don't remember what that is. Okay, 26 defeating the issue with damage over time and ability to be dodged. Okay, I've been proc, but there's powerful assault. And, I don't think I really care about most of these. Yep. So that's pretty much. Oh, before I forget, look. Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed by this too. They're going to have I'm not too keen on the idea of splitting up, having a proc campaign and a no proc campaign because you're splitting up the PvP population even more, and that's just not going to work. As much as I hate proc sets, splitting up the PvP population or the Cyrodiil population is just not good. You really need to reduce the size of Cyrodiil. It's way too big. There's way too much horse riding. There's way too much empty space, unused empty space, wasted potential, wasted space. Imagine having a zone that big and having so much empty space. Like, what? Are you serious? Anyway, so I'm disappointed though. The following sets will function with these campaign rules during the week's PTS patch and when update 31 launches. And unfortunately, New Moon Acolyte is still not on the list. I'm glad any Axiom is because that's a set that my where is it at? That's a set that I love. My Templar has basically been using that from day one, basically. Any Axiom. Just like the wrestle staff on the back and a two-hand sword on the front. That's pretty much been my thing. Any Axiom, two-hand wrestle staff on my Templar from day one. Even before two-hand became a thing on magplars, that was just me. And so I'm glad that I can use that in a no CP campaign, but I don't see New Moon Acolyte, so my hybrids are still in the bad. They're still being screwed for no CP. I mean for no proc PvP. That's sad. I don't know what it is about New Moon Acolyte that they just can't add it. It's ridiculous. Maybe it's too strong. I don't know. So, but that's it. This video has gone on long enough. Thank you all for watching and listening, and I will talk to you later.